You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show number 389 for Sunday the 19th of December 2021.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good friend Jayne Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Phipsy.
Hello there, Mom.
I like that.
Congratulations, my dear.
Thank
Now I have to doff
you.
my cap to you and all sorts, don't I? Do I have to curtsy? I don't know what I have to do now with you.
Shall we just let the listeners in? Because they're going to think I've suddenly got ideas of grandeur, or I've divorced Tom and married a crown prince of Sweden or something.
Ooh. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if there is a crown prince of Sweden. It just came to my head. I was just thinking I was going to be the new Anna or Elsa or something. We all know that I am part of the Army Cadet Force, and for the last sort of 20 months I have been going down the route to getting a officer's commission. I had a pre-board back in September where I was assessed on so many things and I passed. So last weekend was my commissioning board and I passed.
Yay!
So I'm so excited. Although officially I haven't got confirmation of that because they send out a letter to you.
Snail mail.
I haven't got my letter yet, but I have had the commandant of my company already ring me and congratulate me. I have had the regimental sergeant major text message me and congratulate me. But yeah, no official letter as yet. But you know what? I will be cracking open the pot and having a celebratory drink and a nibble on cheese this evening to celebrate, and then pull my belt in, start saving because I've got to buy some formal dress uniform.
Oh, you see, you think you're doing one thing and it leads into something else completely, doesn't it? I can't believe, just a few years ago, Michelle, you started this all off, and I think you've done amazingly well to get where you are today. So big hugs from me and big congratulations. Much, much deserved.
Why are you going to make me cry now?
Well, it's that season, isn't it? We do all this soppy stuff at this time of year.
I'm crying. Thank you. It does mean a great deal to me because obtaining this rank is affirmation for me that I can achieve things. And you're your own self-critic. And when I started university to train to be a teacher, there was this lad in the class and he used to call me the special needs girl, and he used to be awful towards me because even though I have got my degree and I'm very intelligent person, I do have a struggle at times with word processing and talking, and I do have a form of dyslexia. And he used to ridicule me something chronic, and basically I was told I had to stand up for myself and ask this gentleman to stop. He didn't. So he basically was thrown off the course because who would want a teacher who calls children names because they have an additional need or has some sort of challenge educationally? He was training to be a teacher. So, but it's always
belief, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's always been there at the back of my mind. I can't succeed. I'm not good enough. And when I started out on the ACF route, so many people ridiculed me and said, "Oh, shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, blah, 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 blah." So to pass this affirms me that, I never got into the army when I was 18 because of life changes. Even though I passed all the entrance exams and I was going to go into the army, life happened and never went down that route. So to be able to go down this route now at later life and do something so valuable to help the youngsters of today really just makes me feel really proud of the effort I've made. And I'm going to shut up because I'm just crying.
Well, at the end of the day, Michelle, it just goes to show that if you've got something that you want to do, go on there, get out there and do it, and don't let time or age or whatever stand in your way, because unless you try, you don't know. And if you don't have a go, then you will always be asking yourself, what if? So all kudos to you for getting on there and doing it, and I'm dead chuffed for you, and I think it's very well deserved.
Thank you. So it's a nice little bit of celebration before Christmas. I've broken up now for Christmas. You've got a couple more days.
Yeah, there's a couple more days left.
Our houses are starting to be Christmassy-fied.
Oh, mine's been Christmassy-fied since the end of November, love.
Well, my power cut paid to that, and then 2 weekends of cadet stuff. I am hoping this weekend we'll see the putting up of the monorail and getting all of that good stuff sorted. That is my challenge after I've recorded this morning. I want to get my tree up. We have worked incredibly hard. When I say we, it's the royal we. I ordered everything, and then the husband has transformed our living room. We've had a log burning fire put in. We have decorated everywhere. We have just had the new wallpaper put up. The only thing we're waiting on is new furniture and carpets and finishing off the windows. But we're going to be able to have the full monorail, everything up this year for the first time in a very, very long time. And I am so excited.
And we shall look forward to you sharing over on social medias, Michelle, when it's all up and looking gorgeous.
I will. And I gather you've got your little village up.
Oh, my little Department 56 village, which was inspired by my very first trips to Disney World back in the early 90s and seeing the displays they used to have in, I think it was what would now be the World of Disney shop. I can't remember the name of the shop. I did look it up at one point, what it used to be called. And they used to have a Christmas section at the front of it. And that's when I very first saw the Department 56 villages and fell in love with it all. And over the years, I've managed to get more and more bits, but it's just become so difficult to buy stuff in the UK because they don't sell it over here. So I have to run the gamut of buying it from the US, paying extortionate postage costs, then run the risk of possible import charges. So I haven't bought pieces for quite a few years. You were very kind and brought me back a little Mickey Minnie in a car a couple of years ago from Disneyland. So, but I actually keep all my Christmas stuff out all year round, all my Department 56 stuff. The only thing I do different over Christmas is I get my snow blanket out and put it all on snow blanket, which does mean that it all gets moved and dusted properly to put the snow blanket down. And then so twice a year, everything gets dusted properly. Once when the snow blanket goes out and once when the snow blanket goes away.
Aww. Well, I am sure it will look amazing, my lovely. I really, really do. I have got a few bits of that as well because I loved yours so much. I copied you and went off and bought a few bits myself. So very excited about getting that up as well. I'm just trying to find somewhere to put it at the moment. New house and all the challenges that brings. Anyway, we do have a Disney podcast for you after we have spoken all about this, that and the other and everything around the houses. So Jayne, I gather you've got some on this day in Disney history for us.
I have indeed. I've got a couple of bits either side of the 19th and a couple of bits on the 19th as well. So I'm going to go chronologically. We're going to start on the 18th of December, if that's okay. And we're going to go to 1971. We know 1971 was a big year for Disney World, obviously. And I saw this little snippet and I thought this was quintessential of the time. So this was on the 18th of December 1971 was Walt Disney World's very first candlelight processional. The processional travelled down Main Street to the Cinderella Castle forecourt, where there was a performance featuring 1,200 carolers from across Florida, and film star, get this, Rock Hudson narrated the Christmas story. And that's what caught my eye. I thought, oh my goodness, Rock Hudson narrating the Christmas story, while Frederick Fennell conducted the orchestra. And this happened twice in 1971, on the 18th and then again on the 19th. You see the little link there. So going on to the 19th, and I have to mention this because this is actually one of my all-time favourite stories. So in 1843, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens was first published in London. And this must be, I'm not a very big reader. I used to be a really big reader back in the day when I was a teenager. I did the quintessential reading under the bed covers by torchlight and all that sort of thing. But as I've got older and kids kind of came along, my reading is not what it used to be. But I do actually possess a copy of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And when we were having our sort out earlier in the year, I thought, shall I throw this away? And I thought, no. It's sentimental to me. I love the story. I love watching all the different various incarnations of it on the TV. I love the Muppets, of course. So that Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens has to get a mention. And then we're going to whiz forward a little bit And this again caught my eye because those of you that might be aware, and I might mention it on our podcast family page, I've just took delivery of a new car.
Whoop, whoop.
An electric car. So we're very much like, we're kind of speeding around at the moment, feeling like we're in the Jetsons. But in 1998, Test Track, see there's the link, had its soft opening at Epcot. It was supposed to have opened in May 1997, but because they had problems that came out during the testing, it had to be delayed. So it was soft opening was in 1998, then it had its official opening in March 1999. And also then, the following year in 1999, my favourite attraction, not the Tomorrowland Speedway, was renamed the Tomorrowland Indy Speedway. And then I'm going to jump forward a little bit further, unrelated to cars, this one. And this is just because I remember going to see this film in the theatre when it came out and blubbing most of the way through. 2018 was Disney's Mary Poppins Returns. That's when that was released. I remember going to a local cinema, a little charity-based cinema actually, and it just touched me so much because it made me think of my mum, who'd passed away a few years earlier, and I just loved the film. And when I saw this on the history, I thought, and I was chatting to Simon, said, we must make sure we sit down and watch that at some point over Christmas because it's just love the film. That was in 2018.
Can I suggest watching the trifecta?
Yeah.
Mary Poppins, Mr. Banks,
Yeah.
and then Mary Poppins Returns. What a perfect evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Beats watching Die Hard like I had to do the night before we recorded this. But we'll transgress over that. So there you go.
But Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Don't start that debate.
I'm with Simon, I'm sorry. Me and Simon are together on this one.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed it, put it that way. So there you go. That's our little bits of Disney history.
Thank you very much for that, lovely. Well, I've got a few bits I thought I'd bring to the table for a bit of a discussion this week. As we know, last week we had the wonderful Anthony Markham on the show talking about his fabulous trip. I'm so jealous. He's going back again in January, and it's a link to him actually because Disney have announced that more tours are coming back and starting up to the parks in 2022 over in Walt Disney World. And Anthony managed to snag himself a reservation, so I'm very excited for him.
So what's he snagged a reservation for?
He's got keys to the kingdom.
Lovely.
Right, so we've got the keys to the kingdom, which Anthony's been able to snag a ticket for, which is the best in my opinion. But they're also bringing back Caring for Giants, Wild Africa Trek, Up Close with Rhinos and Savour the Savannah.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of there from Animal Kingdom. I personally have done Caring for Giants. Oh my word, how amazing to get so close up to the elephants. Such an amazing one. And it's not a pricey one either.
No.
I've done the Wild Africa Trek. Now, when I did it back in 2013, they had some special offers on. If you went at a time of the day that wasn't as popular to the other times of the day, i.e. morning, you got it a lot cheaper. And I'm not talking a couple of pounds. I'm talking about $90 cheaper.
Wow,
so look out for that. Don't be afraid about doing it later on in the day because the animals are still just about as active as they are in the morning. I think that's just a bit of a fallacy where they're saying, oh, the animals are more active in the morning. No, they're not. Len Tester's proven that. I heard it on Disney Dish.
Yeah.
But I haven't done Savour the Savannah. That is one that I possibly wouldn't because it's the non-active kind of version of Wild Africa Trek, you know, where you get a glass of wine and it's all very chilled and it's on an evening, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't appeal to me as much, and plus it is quite pricey.
Yeah, well, I think you want to be out there and seeing the animals and, I was going to say interacting, but you know what I mean, actually getting to see what it's all about.
But it is great that they're coming back. Really
Definitely.
Exciting.
Bit more normality returning.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That, don't we?
It is a shame that no tours are currently being offered over at the Disneyland Resort in California. It would be nice to see some of theirs. They normally do an amazing Christmas tour, but it's not been offered this year.
No, well, I suppose they've not been open as long as Disney World have been, have they? So I'd imagine that these things are going to take some time to get back up and running, depending on whatever restrictions are in place, and also just the restaffing, I would imagine, to be able to have the capacity to put on these type of things.
Talking about Christmas, let's hop on over to Disneyland Paris because they're facing a bit of a rocky road ahead because France has decided to tighten their restrictions on visitors.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's visitors from everywhere or just excluding us from the UK.
From the sounds of it, it is from the UK because at the moment our most prominent variant is this new variant, Omicron. It sounds like it should be in a sort of like one of those, what are they called, where they convert from one thing to a transformer. Omicron, transformer! And I shouldn't make light of it because I know there's a lot of people who are really, really poorly because of it. But they've decided to stop people from the UK coming over, and you've got to have a justifiable reason for your travel to France.
Yeah, I must admit, I saw it and saw that, you must have a valid reason for travel, brackets, holiday is not a valid reason, close brackets. I was talking actually at work just a couple of days ago because I have one of my colleagues, her daughter is a semi-professional cyclist and spends an awful lot of time in Belgium, of all places, because Belgium and Netherlands are very big for cycling, particularly cyclocross, which she does. And she was due to be going out and then coming back home and then back out again after Christmas. She's actually now decided to go out from as we speak, and she's actually already out there till into January now without travelling backwards and forwards because of all these new restrictions, because some of her travel would be through France, and therefore she wouldn't be able to do it. So this is the impact that it's kind of having on people. But interestingly, apparently, even going to France for work is not a valid reason. So we can't, if you've got connections to France somehow with your work, you can't even go now. So yeah, it kind of feels a bit petty directed just at us in the UK, because I'm sure this variant isn't just happening in the UK, it will be happening everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I did feel sorry. I saw somebody a few days ago now had posted a genuine question on one of the Disneyland Paris Facebook groups, and was saying that this person had got a vacation booked quite late on in December, talking like 20 something of December, and they were a little bit concerned should they go ahead with the trip because didn't know what the impact of masks was going to be. Would it be as magical? Never mind all the faff on with tests and goodness knows what else. And everybody was saying to it, yeah, go for it, because it's still, it's a chance to get out there, and we didn't find the masks were that problematic, and everybody was really positive. When I saw that come through the other day, I thought, oh, well, that's made her decision for her, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
even
true.
if she wanted to go, she can't now. So
And it's such a shame because Disneyland Paris have announced their stunning Christmas offering called Disney Illuminations, which is going to be returning on December 21st, where you're going to have music, fireworks, light projections. They also do an amazing show on New Year's Eve. Well, France are looking towards banning large gatherings. Could this be that Disneyland Paris is going to have to close?
well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, I keep getting, as I'm on their mailing list, they keep trying to entice me with different things of, going back out there. And I have to admit, I'm in that limbo land at the moment. I don't know if I can be bothered to set plans in motion for a vacation, whether it's Disneyland Paris or wherever it may well be in the world, because I just can't guarantee that I'm going to get to the end and actually be able to take that vacation, because things like this happen. And I think this is going to be the kind of rolling effect, isn't it, on travel companies and places that rely heavily on tourism, that people are going to get to a point and go, well, what am I bothering for? And that's going to be sad, because then if they've not got that influx of money, people wanting to go, then things are not going to get spruced up and revamped and goodness knows what else. So we're going to be in a bit of a downward spiral. So I would like to say, all fingers crossed, toes crossed, that we can get out of this and we can get back to normal, because that's what I would like to do. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I have my trip booked in August, and part of me is sort of saying to myself, don't get excited, Michelle, because it may end up getting cancelled. Like, we even got an email from Disney Cruise Line the other day saying that they've modified their cancellation program, and we don't have to pay in full till a lot nearer to sailing date now. So they're obviously quite aware at Disney that this is around for a lot longer than initially anticipated, and it is going to be impacting in the 2022 holiday season for many.
Yeah, I think because things seem to change so quickly as well, that, just as you get used to one set of restrictions or whatever you want to call them, something else comes along, and it's just daft things. I have my work's Christmas meal out in a few days' time, and just chatting to one of my colleagues, and she was saying she can't get excited about it because she's not convinced that something won't change before we get there, and we can't go. So normally, girl chatter at work, you'd be chatting about what you're going to wear and all this stuff, and that's not happening because people are so unconvinced that we're going to get to where we want to be, which I think is sad, isn't it? Like you say, it kind of impacts, because part and parcel, particularly, for us in the UK, when we're looking forward to an expensive and long-awaited holiday to the US, to Disney or World or Disneyland, we want to be able to enjoy the build-up to it and the planning aspect, and at the moment, even that is infringed upon.
Absolutely. But we'll see what happens.
Wait and see.
So some more news, and this time is over at Disneyland, and this got me very interested, very exciting. So you can rent out Mickey's house in Toontown.
Okay.
Now, the attraction is closing in 2022 in March. Yeah. So I sort of thought, is this a fundraising opportunity for Disney to fund the rest of the build? Because they're going to cram in so many people each day into the Toontown house to raise as much money as they possibly can. But that's me with my cynical head on. And I did a little bit of maths, because it's $350 for 10 attendees for 90 minutes. And I was working out how many 90-minute sessions they could fit in a day and how much money they could raise on a daily rate between now and March to help them in the build. But Jayne, I gather you've got some info on what you actually get for your $350.
Well, I think you get, like I say, you get the use of the building, don't you? And then don't you get priority access to, and I can never remember the name, Gadget something or other. What's the ride called, Michelle?
Gadget's Go Coaster, and was so memorable. I had to Google it to try and remember what it looked like. Well,
this is it. It's like, to be fair, was it $350 for 10 people, so $35 a head? It's not an unreasonable price. I'm not quite sure. I suppose it's like, it kind of feels a bit like Disney getting into the let's hire out the village hall for a birthday party territory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then they throw on this at the end about, you're going to get priority access onto a ride that most of us go, huh? So the rumour that I heard was, obviously, because it seems very strange to me, Shell, that they've come up with this offer in a land that we know is going to be closed down from like March time onwards, and it's going to be down for quite a while, isn't it? It's quite a big refurb happening. So why are they doing something now? Because, like you say, surely goodness, it's not to fund the refurb. Please don't let that be the reason. If it is, just set up a GoFundMe with Disney. We'll probably all support you better that way. But the rumour that I'd heard was, is this kind of a test so that when it launches the land in however many months' time, that ride at the end won't be the Gadget thingamajig. It'll actually be priority access onto Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, because that's obviously going to be a big feature of the new Toontown, or whatever it's going to be called. Because the things that I've seen about the new Toontown revamp is very much kind of aimed at I want to say the younger end of the market, with play spaces and areas for families to relax and type thing. There wasn't particularly much grabbing my attention, other than the fact, obviously, its big draw is going to be Mickey and Minnie's, and we know the wait times that Mickey and Minnie's has had over Disney Studios. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works, and then whether it comes back, and if it does come back, what that draw is at the end. So is this a way of you pay $350 just to get on Mickey and Minnie's at a decent time frame? I don't know, maybe I'm just being a bit too sceptical about it.
Well, $35 per person isn't a ridiculous amount. And don't forget, you're getting fun and games and crafts and games and cupcakes to decorate as well. If for Disney-sized cupcakes, i.e. those really big ones, $6 a head on that one. I did a little bit of maths though, Jane. Do you want to know what my maths worked it out to?
Go on then.
So basically, if they do a certain number of these a day, every day of the week, I reckon they can have an income of $176,000.
Well, that ain't going to fund a refurb, is it?
Well, no, but it could fund something, maybe a couple of hours' work from an Imagineer. I don't know. I bet they wish they earned that sort of money, mind you.
Well, yeah. But I suppose by the time you take off the top of that, the cost of cakes and cookies and crafts and what have you, and cast members being employed in that area, you're not going to be left over that much money, are you?
True. I started thinking, well, what other small space could you rent out in the parks that'd be really, really cool and really fun to be able to sort of use?
Okay.
And I thought of something just for you.
Oh, goodness, go on.
So they're not going to involve closing down any attraction, well, when it's up and running again. But I thought, how about being able to have a tea party in the middle of It's a Small World, and all the guests that are going on It's a Small World could wave to you as you're going round?
No. If I'm going to have a tea party and It's a Small World, I want me and my close and dearest in there on the end. I don't want to be waving to anybody else going by. I want the place to myself, love.
Well,
I'm not going to be part of the attraction.
Well, for $350, come on, let's be realistic.
Well, I suppose, I'm going to have to be for that amount, because goodness knows what they want to charge me to hire out a ride.
Millions. $20 million.
I thought you were going to say something like the tangled bathrooms or something like that.
Oh no, I wouldn't want a party in the tangled bathroom.
No, I'm just thinking, because everybody goes off about how beautiful that area is. Maybe not in the bathrooms itself, but the surrounding outdoor area. Perhaps. I don't know. I was trying to think of small spaces and I was struggling.
Well, what about in one of the stretching rooms in Haunted Mansion? Just one of them. They can still operate the ride. And you can just spend your time stretching up and down, and have a little table in the middle and have some sort of eatery all themed around the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. I can see that. As long as you don't get a bit travel sick with it going up and down all the time. I know it's not, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Or there's the lobby at the base of Tower of Terror.
But again, you're going to be like, everybody's going to be waving at you, aren't they?
And they're going to be saying, look at them, they're important. They're having tea in the lobby of the Hollywood Tower Hotel.
Wasn't there an after a party or something that you could actually do once over in the Tower of Terror?
Oh.
Have I got a vague memory of that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I know. They need to bring back some of these unique experiences, because it really does plus out your trip to be able to say, oh, I did that. Like even something as silly as doing the walking tour on Living with the Land. Because that's fun, and it's under $20. Well, it might be about 22 by now. The only sad thing is they give you a little plant at the end, which we can't take back from being from the UK.
Yeah, but it is these little... I know we're kind of making a bit of fun about it at the moment, but it is these little extra bits and bobs that are nice to have available. So should you be able to take advantage of it, or should you be able to afford to take advantage of it, they're there for you to do, aren't they? Just to plus out or say that you got to do something a little bit different on a trip out. Yeah. So it would be nice to see more quirky little bits and bobs returning.
So we're inviting you guys to get in touch with us and let us know what small space in the parks would you want to hire out, and what would you do there? What do you think Disney would charge you for it? Maybe you want a Alice in Wonderland themed party on the Rose Garden grass or something. I don't know. It'd be really interesting. Swan boat landing. Think of all of those unique places that Disney can get that cash cow going to try and help them, because they're obviously in need of our dollars.
Obviously, yeah.
And talking of Disney needing our dollars, I was scrolling through Facebook and it came up with a little ad for Shop Disney, and they're already selling off Christmas merch, Jane.
Already?
Yeah. Now, I scooped big style. I was able to get the Halloween wreath with the Mickey pumpkins and the Nightmare Before Christmas wreath, and I think I got something else as well, and it all came to £30, and it was like, they were like 2/3 off. It was amazing value. I'm going to keep it away there for next year. But looking at the moment, there are so many things on the website that have been slashed in price that you can go and buy and enjoy. So get a little look on Disney website and see if you can bag yourself a bargain to put away for next year, because obviously, you know, knowing how long it takes for couriers at the moment, they probably won't arrive in time for the big day.
No, true. But like you say, you know, get a bargain. And I know I did that a couple of years ago. I ended up buying some Christmas ornaments, and they lived in my cupboard, and they had to live there for the whole year, because I think by the time they'd arrived, I'd put all my Christmas decorations up away in my loft. So I had to remember that I'd stored these particular ones elsewhere. So they were quite a nice surprise find when I realised, when the Christmas rolled around again, I went, oh, new decorations that I've not paid for. Well, obviously I had paid for, but they didn't feel like I'd paid for them.
Oh, lovely. Right, my darling, I think we will end off this show then. Now, if we are following our release schedule as we should, we don't have another show until Boxing Day. So I think this is an ideal opportunity just to say to every single one of our listeners who have stood by us loyally over the last year and tuned into our madness, and we just want to say a really big thank you. We hope you have a wonderful Christmas, whatever you get up to. Please feel free to share your Christmas Disney with us on our Disney Dream Girls podcast family page on Facebook. We also want to say a monster thank you to the wonderful, kind-hearted people who support us over on Patreon. You keep the magic going for us, because that is what we need to alleviate the financial worries. That few dollars each month that people pop into the Patreon pot really does make a big difference. So I think we need to say a big thank you, Jayne.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys. We couldn't do it without you all, and we do appreciate every single one of you that tunes in and listens to our waffle every week.
Oh, that's made me want to go and try out my Mickey waffle machine, Jayne.
Well, it's Christmas. You're allowed to.
Mickey Waffles, Christmas Day. Here I come. Anyway,
Yay.
lovelies, we are on Twitter, Instagram at DisDreamGirls. You know where to find us on email, info@DisneyDreamGirls.com. Until next time, look after each other, keep yourself safe, have a wonderful Christmas, and it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.